Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. This morning, we're going to be breaking down last night's four-game slate. We started early in the day, about 3:30. We had four games on tap. We're going to be breaking those down because we got to look at where we've been in order to see where we want to go. So we're going to do a quick recap of those games. But I kind of want to drop some insurance, so to speak, on the fam, man. Everybody who's been tuning in on YouTube, all of the guys have been checking us out on iTunes because yes, we are now on iTunes. Um, I want you to look at this last week of NBA DFS into the All Star break, the same way you look at uh, the Friday before a 3-day weekend. You don't want to do too much. There's a good chance you're trying to get out early. You've got papers piled up on your desk. You're kind of sliding those up underneath. No matter where you work or what you do, you got that nice 3-day weekend or maybe a vacation coming up. You've got one day left before it's all over, and you kind of sandbag just to get your way, just to get through it. You're just waiting on the clock. You're ready to get clocked out. I want you to look at this last week of NBA DFS leading into the All Star break that very same way. There's going to be some trades going on. We saw Mason Plumlee get moved to the Denver Nuggets in exchange for Yusuf Nurkic and a first-round pick. So there's been trade rumors swirling around about Nerlens Noel and about Jimmy Butler and Okafor, and a lot of shit is going on, right? These guys are not really focused on basketball, playing their best basketball. That's not the focus right now. It's not the leading into the All-Star break. That is not these guys' focus. So when you go out and you spend top dollar when it comes to your FanDuel or your DraftKings dollars, I don't think that you should always expect a top dollar return performance-wise. These guys are about to take a nice break. They're tired. They're ready. They're ready to clock out the same way you would be, same way you've been on a Friday before your 3-day weekend or a vacation. So I want you to take a look at that. Now, there's also some guys who know this, who play, who own the teams, and they're looking at it as kind of an audition, so to speak, a way for them to really show, hey, coach, you haven't been giving me playing time all year, so I'm Ben McLemore, and I'm going to go ahead and drop 40 the last couple of games that you give me. That's happening too. So I want you to keep that in mind as you go out your player pool and your selection. And I think we're going to be able to kind of highlight a couple of those plays on today's show, especially once we get into our player pricing later on in the show. So remember that. Keep that in mind. Now, as you know, on a 4-game slate, I play very lightly. Not very. I have to be like super comfortable with a small slate in order to put my normal 10% buy-in. I usually go 5%. Today I went 2%. I had one lineup on FanDuel and one lineup on DraftKings. Neither one of them cashed. I did not feel like playing a lot today. Just did not like the slate. The biggest key to it was I felt comfortable rostering if I knew that Ty Lawson was going to be playing, or he didn't. The Ty Lawson thing was like the hinge on my day because I made a couple lineups that I really liked that had him in there, and I made one that I really didn't like too much without him. So I couldn't really find a lineup without Collison. Excuse me, I couldn't find a lineup without Collison that I liked. Every lineup I liked. I really liked Collison, and on the ones I put in, I didn't know if he was going to be playing or not. I wasn't sure, so I played both of them. So I had two dead lineups out there just sitting in the weeds. One of them I had Buddy Hield into, so I rolled two lines tonight, and one from FanDuel, one from DraftKings. Neither one of them cash. They were $2-3 tournament buy-in, so whatever. Moving on to the next slate. Moving on to this Monster 11 game we got on today. So I did not issue out a core 4 because it's a stack slate. So let's go ahead and jump into the featured 4 players of the night. These are the 4 most talked about, tweeted about guys on Twitter, on the DFS Sweatshop desktop chat, as well as in the Facebook VIP group. Let's go ahead. We're going to jump into the Who Dat scoring all them points over there player of the night. This is going to go to Namya Bielita at 3K. Minimum salary, stone ground minimum salary. Less than 1% ownership. Dude went out and dropped 35 DraftKings points. Who Dat scoring all the motherfucking points over there. Namya Bielita. Really good game from him, and that's why he is tonight's Who Dat scoring all the points over there player of the night. Next guy I'm going to talk about is the How Did I Miss That Play tonight. Now, I rolled a couple of Detroit guys in my later lineups, and kind of was feeling a lot of different guys except Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris was the only guy that I did not have in there, and well, not the only guy, but he was the only guy that wasn't in consideration to the lineup building that I did. And man, that came back to bite me because Tobias Harris, man, how the fuck did I miss you tonight, bro? 18% ownerships in the all day, 5.2K. Went out and scored 41.5 DraftKings points. A lot of us were on Marcus Morris more than we were on Tobias Harris, and that proved to be a false move tonight. The heat check play of the night can only go to one player, and we're talking about Kawhi Leonard, bro. Kawhi went out and balled, man. I mean, he just fucking balled. Started off the game really slow, was 1 for 4, I think, in the first quarter, and then just turned it on, man. And he just torched the middle, just blew him out. It was a really great game we saw from him in a loss, but he had a nice game. Shout out to my New York Knicks for getting that win, even though I never seen them motherfuckers win yet. Let me tell you something. This is crazy, man. Because if you just start listening, I gotta tell you this. All right, there's a running joke in my family. Grew up some of a part of my life in Brooklyn, New York. That is where I got my love for the New York Football Giants, for the Yankees, a little like for the Mets. I was there in '87 when they won the championship. A lot of love for the Rangers, the Islanders, and the New York Knicks is probably my most beloved sports possession. Basketball has been a love of my life since I was a kid. I thought at one point I was going to be going to play in the NBA for the New York Knicks, but turns out guys who are 5'7" really don't stand a chance. No offense to you, Isaiah Thomas, but so my dad would always take me to these Knicks games. This is one of the only memories that I have with him when I was a kid, man. The family kind of broke up right before my teenage years, and my dad was estranged from the family for quite some time. We recently have connected and bonded, and that is my guy. So if you're a father out there, man, and you didn't do right, as long as the kid is alive and you're alive, you got a chance to go and make it right. If you're a son and your dad did you wrong, and you have too much pride to go to him and say, Dad, you did me wrong, but I love you and I want to be your friend. I want to be with you and I want us to be together. Then do it. Sidebar. Okay. So my dad, the earliest memories I have of this guy would be he would take me to the Knicks games in the Garden. I remember I had like this foam finger, and my favorite player at the time, and still my favorite player of all time, was Bernard King. I watched him drop, like 30 on the Dr. J when I was a kid. Like I loved Bernard King. I loved the New York Knicks. And it was a running joke in my family that my dad said, man, we would bring you to games, but they would always lose. So I just stopped bringing you to the game. And the games we didn't take you to, they won. Every time we brought you to a game, we fucking lose. So this carried on for me in my adult life. I went to a couple of games when I was, a teenager. I went to more games in my adulthood. I go to games frequently now, as you know. Just got back from Atlanta about 2 weeks ago, where I watched my Knicks lose in 4 fucking overtimes. So I have never seen these dudes win. And funny thing is, I took my son to a Hawks game last year, and the Knicks blew an 18-point lead in the fourth quarter, and they didn't win. So I guess that passed down to him. But I have never seen these motherfuckers win, man. And it is the most gut-wrenching, awful thing as a New York Knicks fan to never see these guys win. I hear about the glory days all the time. My dad, he's fulfilled. His life is fulfilled. When he was a kid, in 1972, 1971, 1973, he saw the Knicks win. Growing up in Brooklyn, New York, he saw them win. So his life is fulfilled. Mine is fulfilled as a Giants fan, as a Yankees fan. I'm fine. But I even saw the Rangers win. But the one thing that has eluded me my entire life is to see a New York Knicks, not only a New York Knicks championship, but just a fucking game one in person. So you're gonna hear that from me a little bit. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And got sidetracked a little bit. Let's get back to the feature four players, and I just say that to say, man, I keep it honest with you. I tell you, that's my life. It's real. This is real shit. This is my real life. So let's go ahead and get back into the feature four players tonight. Uh, the snowflake of the night is going to go to, and I don't have too much time to bang on this kid because, like I just explained to you in the beginning of the video, these cats are ready to get off work, man. It's been a long first half of the season. This dude's a fucking baller. They blew the team out. It wasn't that serious. But Karl-Anthony Towns used a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass because I rostered you and you shit on me. You only scored 34 DraftKings points at above 10K in salary. That was a horrible performance from you. Horrible performance from you. And use a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass. Now let's go on and move on with the rest of the motherfucking show. What we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and recap last night's games. We've got to take a look at these games. We've got to take a look at them. Even though we're coming this close to the All-Star break, we still need to see what's been going on because guys are going to be getting run now that wouldn't normally get run in a more competitive part in the season, say right like at the beginning or when guys are really trying to, solidify themselves in lineups. But these are some guys over the next week or so we're gonna see they're gonna play pretty well, and they're kind of auditioning. They're auditioning for a lasting role on the team, or maybe a crack into the starting rotation. So let's go ahead and jump into the first game on the docket. It is going to be the Chicago Bulls going to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. We're going to start on the Chicago side where Dougie McBuckets played 29 minutes. He had 16 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. He is officially dead to me. But as I stated in the last show, the All-Star break, guys are going to get revived, rejuvenated. I will raise them from the dead. They will have a chance to prove themselves again. Dougie McDermott will be alive again once we come out of the All-Star break. Taj Gibson in 17 minutes had 2 and 5 to go with assists. Bad game from him. Robin Lopez 10 and 4 to go with 2 assists. Horrible game from him. Michael Carter Williams did not disappoint, man. The price is low on him, about 4.2K. 29 minutes he played. He had 12 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals while shooting 33% from the field. Not a great shooting game from him, but at that price point, 41 DraftKings points, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I'll take that from how much did he score? 31. Yeah, 31 DraftKings points. I'll take that from Michael Carter Williams any day. That was nice. Jerry Grant in his 19 minutes had 8 and 1 to go with 3 assists and 1 block. Rajon Rondo 10 and 3 to go with 6 assists and 1 steal. And Bobby Portis off of the bench in 30 minutes, he had 16 and 6. Pretty decent game at that price point there. And Denzel Valentine chipped in 3 and 4 to go with 1 assist and 2 steals. Not a big game there from him. On the Minnesota side, we saw a monster from Andrew Wiggins, man. In 33 minutes, he had 27 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Gorgie Jang, he could have been the how did I miss that play tonight because I am normally on this guy. This is one of my favorite no name banger players. Guys that guy that just works hard on the team and deserves to get some of the limelight, but his game is just so simple and it's not flashy like Wiggins, it's not flashy like Towns or Rubio. This guy or Levine, like this guy just goes out and works hard. He's like pretty much a glue that holds a lot of this team together, and he never gets credit for it. So on a night like tonight, where he shines in a 10.13 board double-double, I really like it for him, man. He also had 2 steals and 1 block. I'm talking about Gorgie Jang. Pretty nice game there from him. Karl-Anthony Towns, with your snowflake ass, played 34 minutes, had 22 and 7 with 4 assists and 1 steal. Brandon Rush got the start in place of the injured Zach LaVine and did not play very well in 29 minutes. So the minutes were there. The minutes were definitely there. He had 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. Not a great game there from him. Rick Rubio double-doubled in his 32 minutes. He had 17 points, dished out 11 dimes, had 6 rebounds and 2 steals while shooting 50% from the field. Pretty nice game there from Ricky Rubio. Shabazz Muhammad off of the bench had 12 and 2 with 1 steal while shooting 5 of 7 from the field. Pretty good game there. Namia Bielita, 18 minutes. We talked about him. The who that scored all them points over there player tonight. He had 16 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. And this was in some scrub love. Next game we're going to talk about. The next game we're going to be talking about is the New York Knicks, my New York Knicks, getting a win in the Madison Square Garden with the San Antonio Spurs coming to town. We're starting on the San Antonio side where DeMarcus Aldridge had a fairly decent double-double, 15 and 10 with 1 assist. This was all in 37 minutes. Kawhi Leonard, man, the Heat check play tonight, went out and balled 36 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. This dude is an assassin, man. He is an excellent player. He only shot 1 for 7 from behind the arc, but getting to the free throw line 11 times, converting 9 of those tries into points while shooting 13 for 27 on the whole from the field for 48%. That was a complete game we saw from Kawhi Leonard, man. Really nice game there. Dwayne Dedmon led a lot of lineups to slaughter. In 23 minutes, he had 3 points, 7 boards, 2 steals, 1 block. Not a good game from him at all. Danny Green had 6 and 3 with 1 steal and 1 assist. And David Lee off of the bench had 10 and 7 with 1 assist and 1 steal. Nobody really played very well outside of Kawhi Leonard on the San Antonio side, and that's probably why they could not get the W. On the Knicks side, we saw Melo have another nice one, man. He played damn near 40 minutes. He had 25 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, while shooting 9 for 21 from the field, 4 for 6 from the free throw line, and 3 for 5 from behind the arc. Pretty good game there. Kristaps Porzingis was only 6.1K. You had to have him. That was very cheap. For a guy that good, that was very cheap. He played 36 minutes. He had 16 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 4 blocks while shooting 40% from the field, hit 3 of 5 3-point shots, and converted all 5 of his free throw into points. Pretty nice game there. Willie Hernangomez in 29 minutes had 12 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 steals. And this was like an okey doke move because Kyle O'Quinn got the start, but he only played 21 minutes, and he had 4 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists with 3 blocks. Not a horrible game, but still, man, you should have got a piece of Willie if you wanted a piece of this front court. And who knew they was going to play this well against the San Antonio Spurs, man? Who knew? They had a really nice game. Really nice game. Courtney Lee, in his 34 minutes, had 9 and 5 to go with 5 assists, 1 steal. And we saw a pretty decent game from Derrick Rose, 18 and 4 to go with 2 assists with 1 block. On the next game, I'm going to talk about the Toronto Raptors losing at home by 1 point to the Detroit Pistons. This was a very nice game. The totality of the game was really good. We saw some really shitty point guard play, but for the most part, man, a lot of guys balled in this game. We're talking about Marcus Morris. In 31 minutes, he had 11 and 3 to go with 1 assist, 2 steals, and 1 block. John Lure played 16 shitty minutes. He had 2 points. That's it. Thanks, John Lure. Snowflake ass. Andre Drummond in 27 minutes had 10 points, 18 boards with 1 steal and 1 block. Pretty good game there. KCP was a guy that I was on. I really liked him all day. But he didn't do shit but score, man. He had 21 points in 40 minutes. Led the team in minutes. I mean, the closest guy to him minutes-wise was Tobias Harris and Morris. They had 31. This dude played 8 minutes more than everybody else at least 8 minutes more than everybody else on the team. And in all of that time, all he could do was chuck up 22 shots, hit 8 of them, and get 21 points and dish out 2 assists. I mean, where are the rebounds? Where are the steals? Where's a block? Where are the 3-point shots? This dude took 12 3-pointers and only hit 2. Horrible game shooting from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Yeah, he dropped the dub. He scored 20 points, but god damn, bro. This is the game. This is like the shell of the game he had when he scored like 50 the other week. Except then he was knocking down shots. This time he was just chucking them up. Not a great game there. Tobias Harris, he led the team in scoring. In 31 minutes, he had 24 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. A complete line we saw from Tobias Harris. Stanley Johnson even got him a little piece. In 23 minutes, he had 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 steal. And Ish Smith, in 31 minutes, eclipsed yet again the play of Reggie Jackson. Something got to change here because Reggie got 6. Ish got 15. Reggie ain't getting no rebounds. Ish got 5. Reggie got 1 assist. Ish got 5. Reggie didn't get no block. Ish got 1. You know what I mean? So this is not good. This is not good. This does not bode well for Reggie Jackson. Something is going on there, and I really don't think that you could roster this guy with confidence. I just don't think you can going forward. On the Toronto Raptors side, really nice game we saw from DeMar DeRozan. In 37 minutes, leading the team, he had 26 points, 7 and 2 assists. Also to go on the block, pretty good game there. 47% from the field. That was pretty nice. That was definitely pretty nice from him. Jonas Valanciunas in 33 minutes, he had 17 points, 9 rebounds, did not get an assist, a steal, or a block, but still, man, that was a solid performance there from Jonas Valanciunas. DeMarre Carroll was actually a nice value play in this game. He had 15 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal while shooting 6 of 9 from the field and hit 2 of 4 3-point shots. Terrence Ross off of the bench had 7 and 3 to go with 2 assists. Pretty solid game on the Toronto side, as they only lost this game by 1 point. Detroit did pull it out in the end. The last game I'm going to talk about is the Sacramento Kings at home facing the New Orleans Pelicans. This was the battle of the Kentucky kids. We saw Anthony Davis matched up a lot of the game with Boogie Cousins, man, and it was a pretty decent game. Anthony Davis, he didn't really, light it up, didn't set the world on fire, but 32 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. That's a pretty decent line for him. We wish he would have gotten some more because the price was kind of up on him. He was still around almost 11K in salary. But Dante Cunningham, 14 and 6 to go with 2 assists. Pretty nice game there. Drew Holiday, man, this dude is continuing to ball. This dude is just continuing to ball, and we've got to definitely take a look at this guy going forward, man. He's just continuing to ball. Really nice game there. Drew Holiday played 39 minutes, had 16 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, 5 steals. Great game you saw from him. Donatas Montejunas in 21 minutes had 7 and 8 to go with 2 assists and 1 steal and a block. Not much else we saw from anybody else on the New Orleans Pelicans side, which is probably why they lost the game. But on the Sacramento Kings side, Aaron Aflalo, the worst player in the league, went out and dropped 10 points. He had 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 1 steal with a block, shooting 3 for 7 from the field, hit all 3 of his free throws. Pretty nice game there for the worst player in the league, Mr. Aaron Aflalo. Boogie Cousins in 35 minutes had 28 and 14 to go with 7 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. We saw a nice one from Darren Collison, 20 points, leading the team with 40 minutes. He had 6 boards, 8 assists, 3 steals. Nice game there. Matt Barnes chipped in pretty nicely off of the bench. In 33 minutes, he had 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 block. Pretty decent game we saw from him. Now that we have recapped last night's games, let's go ahead and jump into a quick player pricing preview as we look ahead to tomorrow's 11-game slate. It is a huge slate of games tomorrow. We have to do our due diligence in terms of research. I'm starting you off. This is where we started it. This is where we're gonna take a look at what guys are costing and see how we feel about getting those guys in our lineups, or just saying, hey, that's a guy that I'm not gonna pay for. So before we do that, we do a quick slate breakdown. Let's jump into it. Now you can see we got a bunch on here. We got a ton here. We want to pay attention to this. Let me take a swig of the cherry coke. Now we got an 11-game slate tomorrow. Starts at 7 p.m. Lineups lock at 7 p.m. You need to be somewhere where you can make any changes, any moves you need to make at 6:15. 6:15, 6:30, 6:45. Be somewhere where you can make changes, right? Now, first thing is, you can see we've got this 8:30 late game slate. There's 5 games in there. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of basketball in those 5 games. And I'm willing to bet, depending on the games that are in that 5-game slate, you can find lineups. You can make lineups that will be better than some of the best lineups in this 11-game slate. If the games in here are juicy enough, and we're going to check on that in the midday mix, of course. And once you subscribe to the website, that's what we do in the midday mix. But you can definitely look inside of here and find lineups, make lineups that will do really well in the main in 11. You also got the 2-game turbo at 7:30. You've got a 9-game later at a 4-game later at 9 o'clock. You can throw something from those 4 games in the main. You've got a 3-game turbo that starts at 8 o'clock. So there's a ton of options, man. If you feel more comfortable just playing the smaller slate, do it. If you're overwhelmed by this, just play the smaller ones. But I'm going in. So let's go ahead and open up the player pricing. As I said, we do this so that we can get a good read on where we want to spend our DK dollars. The first people that we like, the ones that we know we're not going to be playing, we're going to go ahead and open those guys up and take a look. Here we are. Now, first things first, we see it. Russell Westbrook is going to Washington to take on the Wizards. This is a prime time point guard duel right here. That's what this is going to be, with the Washington Wizards and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I like this game already. I mean, just looking at it, I like it. I like it. But okay, Monday we've got 11 games, and I'm going to tell you the games that are going to be televised. The games that are going to be on national TV. Those games are going to target. Okay, first thing, this is a nationally televised game. Westbrook and John Wall are going to be headline driving us into the All Star break with some good point guard play, good basketball. Get you some pieces of this game. Get you pieces of this game on either side. That's a nationally televised game. That starts at 8 o'clock on TNT. All right, and at 10:30 we've got Atlanta, Portland. So I think you want to guys play better when they're on TV. That's just a fact. When they know they're gonna be on national TV, guys come out and they ball. So you look at that. Then on Tuesday we've got 3 games. You can definitely take a night off from that if you like. On Wednesday we've got a 14 game slate, a big 14 game slate on Wednesday. Thursday we've got 2 games, and then of course Friday, that's when we start All Star Weekend. So we've got the Rising Stars Challenge on Friday. Then Saturday we've got the All Star Saturday night. Then Sunday we've got the NBA All Star Game. Then we're back at it Thursday, the following Thursday. So after this Thursday, we another week for basketball. So that's where we're going to be with that. So let's go ahead and hop into the player pricing. Just going really in depth. Westbrook, 12.7K. Now, this game looks to me to be inside of that 3 game turbo. Let's go ahead and check that too. Let's check that right now. Let's check. Let's check it right now. Let's see. Let's check and see where that game is. I want to know exactly. All right, so any games that start at that's going to be in the 3 game turbo. Okay, cool. Okay, I did that for my own personal use because I'm going to be getting a piece of that one. I don't know if I can spend up that 12.7K on the main, but I'm definitely going to get a piece of that 3 game turbo. Something to throw out there. All right, so we got Westbrook at 12.7 going up against John Wall, who is the next highest price point guard on the slate. Of course, Anthony Davis is priced up just above John Wall at 11K. I like Anthony Davis tomorrow against Phoenix. Yeah, we can do that, especially if we know that Tyson Chandler is not going to be playing. I definitely think we can look there. Giannis Antetokounmpo at 10.1 against Detroit. That's going to be a, I think a slow pace game on the Detroit side, but I have no problem with playing Giannis. Like I said, man, with Jabari Parker out, all the usage goes to this guy, and a lot of times we can kind of fool and trick and bamboozle ourselves to think that the guys, Jabari's hurt, so everybody else is going to be in play. No, Jabari's hurt, so Giannis is the fucking man. So do not ignore this guy, especially in the second half of the season. Steph Curry at 10K going up against the Golden State, against the Denver Nuggets. Under any other circumstances, I would be like, yo, I love Steph Curry, but I think they're gonna blow the fuck out them. I think they're gonna blow them out. I really see them blowing them out. I mean, we already had word that Wilson Chandler left a game to go buy some sneakers and shit. Like this team is not. They just traded for they getting Mason Plumlee, sending Nurkic. I don't know how the chemistry is gonna work there. Probably good chances they get blown out. So Steph Curry at 10K, that's might be a little too high for me to go here. But I mean, of course, in a blowout, he does catch wreck, so we can look at him. Kevin Durant, the same story at 9.9. Isaiah Thomas 9.7. I think he's in play. Even though this is the first ranked DVP against the point guard position, this dude is matchup proof. Talking about Isaiah Thomas, I do like him. You got Nikolai Jokic at 9.2. It's just a bad idea to roster centers against Golden State. It's just a bad idea. It rarely works out well to roster a center against Golden State, and I will probably not be on Nikolai Jokic tomorrow. 9K for Blake Griffin. That is not a play that I'm particularly interested in as well. I don't think we have to go there. Um, Kawhi Leonard at 8.9 against Indiana. The dude he's another guy that's matchup proof. Going up against Paul George, who is a fairly decent defender, but I still like Kawhi. I think Kawhi can be a really nice play at 8.9K tomorrow. Drew Holiday, fire him up at 8.8. I like him. The price is up on him just a little bit going to Phoenix. But man, Phoenix gives it up to point guards. And I don't see why they would do anything different with Drew Holiday coming to town. Dame Lillard at 8.6. I love to attack. I love to attack the Atlanta Hawks on the perimeter, especially with a guy like Dame Lillard, just an athletic point guard that can do all anything on top of the perimeter. I like him. I like him tomorrow. Plus, Portland's going to be at home. The only thing that I kind of worry about is, does did they get rid of Plumlee so that they can really unleash this backcourt and let them just ball and do what they want to do? Or, is this going to be, a situation where the team is out of whack and the chemistry is a little bit off? That's the only thing that's going to give me some pause when it comes to getting a lot more exposure to Dame Lillard. Hassan Whiteside at 8.1. He's in play for me. He's in play. It's going to be tough to play him, with what's been going on with him lately, but I think he had a pretty decent game out last time. Joel Embiid probably will be out against the Charlotte Hornets. Chris Paul is definitely, we know he's out. Andre Drummond at 7.9. He is in play against the Milwaukee Bucks. I like him. Nicholas Batum at 7.9 against the Philadelphia 76ers is definitely in play for me. Draymond Green, I like Draymond Green the most out of all of those guys on the Golden State side. I like Draymond Green, and I like Klay Thompson the most out of all those guys. CJ McCollum, of course, he's in play at 7.8. And see, that's going to be the quandary. Do we pay up at 8.6 for Dame Lillard, or do we pay down to 7.8 for CJ McCollum? And at this point, I really think that CJ McCollum can be a much safer play, a much easier bet to return that 6x value than Dame Lillard can be. So I'm going to give him consideration as well. Mike Conley, 7.7 against the Brooklyn Nets. Normally, I would say, oh yeah, man, you can play them anywhere. You can attack the Brooklyn Nets anywhere, but they have been tough on point guards pretty lately. I mean, we've seen Goran Dragic just shit the bed against them. Do I think Mike Conley will do that? No, no. But for that reason, I'm going to have some pause when it comes to just rolling out Mike Conley against the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to play him, but I'm going to have to dig a little bit deeper into the numbers and see exactly what he does. Plus, Mike Conley is a guy that he plays up to the level of the competition. Against top flight point guards, he steps up and has great games. We see last week against Steph Curry, he went out and dropped damn near 50 DraftKings points. But the day before, against a much worse team, he didn't play very well. So Goran Dragic at 7.7. I just don't like to play point guards against the Orlando Magic. He could play well, but I just don't like to play point guards against the Magic. Gordon Hayward at 7.7 that's a nice price on him. He's been killing it this year so far. The last player to average 22 points a game or more for the Utah Jazz was Karl Malone. That speaks to how good this guy is, man. Gordon Hayward is a superior talent. 7.7 is not a bad price on him. At home, if the game was in LA, I wouldn't like him as much, but due to the fact that the game is in Utah, I do like Gordon Hayward tomorrow. Eric Bledsoe at 7.7. Of course, he is in play for me. I like him. This is a point guard heavy slate, man. 7.6. The price is down on Kemba. A string of bad games out last week or so. This is a string of bad games for Kemba. At some point, he has to bounce back. I think I'm gonna wait until the All-Star break to see if he comes back revitalized and refreshed. So I'm not telling you to everybody Kemba at home. I'm not saying that. I'm gonna play him. I'm gonna throw him in the lineup just because I like the matchup against Philadelphia. But I wouldn't suggest that you roll out a ton of Kemba tomorrow. Marc Gasol 7.6. Come on now, give me some of that. Give me some of that Marc Gasol against Brook Lopez. Give me some of that Marc Gasol. Pour it all over me, baby. 7.6. I'll take that. Paul Millsap at 7.6. Yes, you gotta love Paul Millsap. They done got rid of Plumlee. Who's gonna guard him? Who's gonna guard Paul Millsap in Portland? I like Paul Millsap tomorrow at 7.6. Paul George is not a play that I'm interested in tomorrow. Brad Beal is not a play that I'm interested in tomorrow. Going up against Vic Oladipo defense. Nikolai Vucevic at 7.1. He is in play. He is in play. Honestly, if I had to roster a big in this game, I would roll Vucevic before I would roll Whiteside, just because Whiteside had a good game out last time. Vucevic had a bad game out last time. The recency bias says I'm not fucking with Nikola Vucevic, but he's cheaper and he's in a better matchup at 7.1K. I like him. Rudy Gobert, man, against DeAndre Jordan. Last time this didn't go well for him, and I don't think that's gonna change, even though they're at home. So I won't be fucking with Rudy Gobert. Jeff Teague, do not let the matchup against the San Antonio Spurs scare you, because somebody has to score. And if we see if we see Kawhi throw the clamps on Paul George, somebody's gonna score, and it's most likely gonna be somebody like Jeff Teague, with the old slow Tony Parker tagging along behind him. And at 6.9K, that's not a bad price at all. Dwight Howard at 6.9 is something I don't like. Devin Booker is a no for me. Markieff Morris, yes, at 6.8, especially in that 3-game tour. I like him. Klay Thompson, pour him all over me, baby. I love Klay Thompson. I'm at 6.7. I'm gonna have me a piece of that. Wilson Chandler is questionable, which means he left the game to go buy a pair of sneakers. So, let him chill there. Dion Waiters is questionable. If he does play tomorrow, I do like him at 6.7. There's no way that Evan Fournier can stick with Dion Waiters, and he's just going to take him to the cup as much as possible. LaMarcus Aldridge is in play at 6.7. I like him tomorrow. I even like Dennis Schroeder at 6.6. I think this is going to be a nice matchup for these guys here. The Atlanta and Portland game. It's a late night hammer game. I like it. Al Horford, 6.5 is not a play that I'm particularly interested in. Neither is DeAndre Jordan. Will Barton, especially if you don't see Wilson Chandler, I like him at 6.5. We know that there's a good chance Gallinari isn't going to play until after the All-Star break. Brook Lopez, 6.4. I'm not interested in that. Otto Porter is a yes at 6.4. I like him. Vic Oladipo, this is the third-ranked defense against the shooting guard position, but I think Vic Oladipo against Brad Beal, 6.3. I think Vic Oladipo can win a lot of those matchups. I like that. Robert Covington has been playing out of his mind lately. 6.2K, that's a very fair price for him. I like that. Serge Ibaka, no. James Johnson, yes. You got to go with what James Johnson has been doing and the limitations that we've seen Orlando Magic place on point guards. This guy has been handling the ball at the top of the key as a point forward. I like him. I like James Johnson tomorrow at 6.2. Gortat at 6.1. I'm not interested in him. 6.1 for George Hill is not bad at home. Steven Adams, 6K flat. I like that tomorrow. Evan Fournier is not in play for me. Wesley Matthews has been shooting the lights out recently, and they just this game just was a really nice game the other night. I think Dallas might have just beat them not too long ago, and that's when we saw a really nice game from Wesley Matthews at 6K. I kind of like that. Harrison Barnes, if Jay Crowder is out, I say fire him up. If Jay Crowder plays, I don't like him so much. Jay Crowder at 5.9. If he does play, I think you can look to him at 5.9. Mason Plumlee is going to be out because he's not going to be able to play the very next game being traded. Excuse me. He is still like a part of their roster as far as DraftKings is concerned. He's not going to be able to be on like the Denver Nuggets team list, so we're not worried about him. Tim Hardaway Jr. at 5.8 is not a play that I like too much. Reggie Jackson, why is this dude 5.7K? Why? No. Frank Kaminsky, we don't see Cody Zeller. Yes, Frank Kaminsky, I like him at 5.7. Miles Turner, the price is down on him. He is somebody that we can look to at 5.7. That's just too cheap for a guy that talented. Zebo at 5.6 is the play I kind of like. Nowitzki is the play I kind of like against the Boston Celtics at 5.6. Gallinari, he's out. Probably won't see him until after the All-Star break. Tyler Johnson is in play at 5.5 against the Orlando Magic. Marcus Smart is a no for me. Al-Farouq Aminu at 5.5. I think that with the trade that just took place in Portland, where they got rid of Mason Plumlee, I think some of these bigs in Portland are going to have an uptick in minutes. We're talking about guys like Ed Davis, guys like Noah Vonleh. I don't think Yusuf Nurkic just jumps right in and assumes all of his minutes in a starting role. So you've got to kind of see what they're going to be doing going forward there. Ersan Ilyasova was a great play the last time out against the Charlotte Hornets. We know we can attack them rebounding the basketball. If we don't see Joel Embiid, we don't see, I like him. I like him. Dario Saric also had a pretty good game against them too. Thaddeus Young's questionable, probably won't play tomorrow. Neither will Avery Bradley. Terrence Jones probably will be out tomorrow. Nerlens Noel, that is a very cheap price, 5.3. We can look to Nerlens Noel tomorrow to attack Charlotte rebounding the basketball. Kentavious Caldwell Pope is in a good spot at 5.2. So is Tobias Harris at 5.2. I kind of like him in that matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks, coming off of that nice game he had last night. Dario Saric, 5.2, yes. Elfrid Payton. The point guard matchup here in in Miami against the Orlando Magic, they kind of cancel each other out. Elfrid Payton, he's not been playing very bad. He's just not getting minutes. They started C.J. Watson because they wanted to reward him for his play early in the season or whatever. But that's bullshit because Elfrid Payton is a better player. He should be on the floor more. Gary Harris is questionable at 5.1 if he plays. I still don't like him. If Tyson Chandler plays and he's fine and like totally good to go, we can start him at 5.1. I like that. TJ McConnell is not a play that I'm interested in. Michael Kidd Gilchrist will receive limited run from me. And Yogi Ferrell at 5K. This is going to be like a battle of the tiny point guards because we know that Darren Williams is on that minutes restriction, so he probably won't see a lot of time. He played 16 minutes out the last game. Yogi played like 33 minutes, so there's a definite chance that we see a ton of Yogi Ferrell tomorrow. And at 5K, I don't mind taking a shot on him there. Because at 6K, that was too much. But at 5K, I don't mind taking a shot on Yogi Ferrell. Austin Rivers, the coach's son, going up against George Hill. I am not fucking with that at 5K. TJ Warren, the price is up to 5K on him. Going up against the New Orleans Pelicans at home, I think we can give TJ Warren some consideration. Going up against the 27th ranked DVP against the small forward position. Greg Monroe is a no for me. Actually, this is the team that he came from. So this is kind of like a revenge game. And I think he always does play well against the Detroit Pistons. I think he does. I think Greg Monroe always balls out against the Pistons. Somebody stat muse that and get back to me. Hit me in the comments. Let me know. I think he does. If my memory serves correctly, he plays really well against the Pistons. So I've got to give him some consideration there. Cody Zeller is questionable. I hope he doesn't play because then we can fire up Frank Kaminsky. Jeremy Lin is out. Trevor Booker is 4.9 going against the Memphis Grizzlies. That's a very cheap price for a guy that can get a double-double off of the bench where he's been starting lately. Dwayne Dedmon, everybody's mad with Dwayne Dedmon right now, and he went up. He had a shitty game, and the price went up to 4.9K. I like him tomorrow. I still do. Derek Favors at 4.9. I like him as well. Malcolm Brogdon is a no for me. Aaron Gordon is out. Jamal Crawford, no. Kent Bazemore is dead to me until All-Star break. Michael Beasley at 4.7 is in play. Marvin Williams at 4.7 is a play that I'm kind of looking at. Jermichael Green is a no for me. Lil Bro, Steph Curry, no at 4.7. Tony Allen, I like Tony Allen tomorrow at 4.6. He can be a really solid shooting guard play, especially since Bojan likes to shoot those jumpers on the perimeter. And they've also got a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie running the point sometimes. I kind of like Tony Allen tomorrow. David Lee is in play at 4.6. Maurice Harkless should see a minutes increase with Mason Plumlee going at 4.6. PJ Tucker, I like him at 4.6. Okafor says he's out, so he's probably maybe involved in some trade or something. Darren Williams is only 4.5K. He's going to be on a minutes limit. I'm not fucking with that. Alex Len, I like him and I love him. If we don't see Tyson Chandler tomorrow, Raymond Felton is a no for me. Moutier is probably going to be out tomorrow. Bojan Bogdanovic at 4.3 is a play I think that we can avoid tomorrow. Tyreke Evans at 4.3. If he is good to go and healthy, he can play tomorrow for us. Wayne Ellington, if he gets to start against the Orlando Magic, I kind of like him. Alan Crabb, yes, at 4.2. Nurkic, he is not in play tomorrow because he got traded. He's a part of the trade, so we can't use him. Ronnie Hollis Jefferson is a no for me. Andre Roberson, yes, at 4.1. I like him. Tony Parker is a no for me. CJ Miles, no. Joe Ingles, no. Buddy Hield got ejected last time at 4.1K. Ish Smith, 4K. I'm good on that. I don't want any of that. Rodney McGruder, he's in play if he gets to start at 4K. I like him. Solomon Hill, if he starts again 4K, you can look at him as well. Andre Iguodala, if you like him in Scrub Love, 3.9K, you can definitely get get your feel there. Sean Kilpatrick at 3.9K is going to be seeing Tony Allen defense, but I'm not too afraid of that. And I think that he can come off of the bench, or if he's in the starting rotation, he can play some solid minutes. I like him at 3.9K. Shelvin Mack, 3.9 is a no for me. Brandon Knight is the only player that's already dead coming out of the All-Star break. No, not at all. Sauce at 3.8. If he starts, I like him. Vince Carter, 3.8 is a no for me. James Ennis is a no. CJ Watson, no. Devin Harris, 3.8. I kind of like him. Marcus Chris, 3.8 is a no for me. John Henson, no. Dellavedova, no. Sean Livingston is not a player that I'm interested in. Marco Bellinelli, I like him at 3.7 as a cheap salary saving option at the shooting guard or small forward position. Karis LeVert, the same way with him, 3.7. I kind of like that. Kelly Oubre Jr. at 3.7 is not a player that I'm interested in. Danny Green, yes, at 3.7. Going against the Indiana Pacers, I kind of like him there. The boy Allen, if he does get the start, I still don't like him. Etuan Moore is a no. Gerard Arthur is a no for me. JaVale McGee deserves consideration. He's only going to play like 16, 17 minutes, but at 3.6K, dude can go out and fucking ball real quick. So he deserves consideration, definitely. Allen Williams is a no. Thon Maker is a no. Aaron Baines, no. Andrew Harrison, No, Chandler Parsons, 3.5K. Let's see how much minutes he's projected to get. If he's projected to get in the 20 minutes, I like Chandler Parsons tomorrow. Monte Ellis at 3.5 is in play. Probably going to see some scrub love there. Dante Cunningham at 3.5 is in play. I like him if he does get to start. Mirza Teletovic at 3.4 is a play that I'm kind of interested in with the injury to Jabari Parker, and we see the bulk of everything having to be carried by Giannis Antetokounmpo. Kyle Anderson, Amir Johnson is a no. Gerald Henderson, 3.3. That's not a bad play. I like him. Jeremy Lamb, 3.3K. I like Jeremy Lamb tomorrow at that price point. That's a really nice one there. Let's go ahead and find that 3K play of the day. Let's find it. All right. And we've got Ian Clark can come off of the bench and see some solid minutes against the Denver Nuggets in a blowout. There's not too much to look at, man. It's slim pickings over here, bro. It is slim pickings. Isaiah Whitehead at 3K against the Memphis Grizzlies can be a play that we look to as a salary saving option to get you a 3K player of the day there. Also, Trey Burke at 3K, somebody you can look at. Definitely Cameron Payne, maybe. Anthony Morrow could be in play. Jason Smith at 3K. I kind of like him against Oklahoma City Thunder. I like him tomorrow as a 3K salary saving option. If you're gonna roll 4 guards and you got a ton of room at the center spot, I kind of like him tomorrow. I think that could be a solid play. Here we are. Now let's go ahead and get the logo back popping, and we're gonna roll through the point totals from today's 11 games monster slate. That's gonna be taking us the rest of the week on into the All-Star break. All right. First place we're going to start is in Charlotte, where the Hornets are going to be playing host to the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, they just played this game not too long ago, and we saw Dario Saric go in. Dario Saric had a monster game against them. Actually, that was a really nice game we saw from Dario Saric. And this is a 211-point total, with the Charlotte Hornets giving up 8.5 points. Now, we know we're probably not going to see Embiid, so that means that we're going to see a lot of Nerlens Noel. I kind of like him at that price point. We've also, Okafor is probably going to be out. They've got some trade talk stuff going on there. So he's kind of going to be like the only big that's going to be in the game. And we know we can attack Charlotte rebounding the basketball. They're a team that likes to drive to a basket a lot. That's these potential for, Nerlens Noel to get some block shots. So I think he's a really nice play tomorrow. Also, Robert Covington has been balling out lately. And when the guy is shooting that hot, playing as well as he's been playing, I think that's a really nice recipe for a great game with what he's been doing so far. Also, I think we can take a look at TJ McConnell in this game. Kemba Walker is not a great defender. And TJ McConnell is a guy that can rack up the peripheral stats as well as give you 8 to 10 real life points. So I do like him tomorrow. I think we can look to Nick Stauskas some off of the bench. So there's a lot more to like than usual on the Philadelphia side of the ball. I kind of like this team going against the Charlotte Hornets. I still think they would lose, but I do see them being the fantasy points that are going to be scored. I think it's easier with this Philadelphia team to tell where they're going to go. That, if for lack of a better term. On the Charlotte Hornets side, of course, Kemba's going to be at home. Has not had success there lately. Hasn't had success at all lately. Actually, he's been playing downright bad. So I think more of my ownership will be shifted to the direction of a guy like Nick Batum. And when we talk about Robert Covington again, now he's probably going to be seeing some MKG defense. So keep that in mind going forward when you think about Robert Covington. And that may open up the door for somebody like Dario Saric, or that plays with the second team, or Ersan Ilyasova. Just something to think about. Cody Zeller, I hope you don't play tomorrow, because I really think rostering Frank Kaminsky is going to be dope at that price point. He's somebody who I want to have in my rosters. I like what he can do against a team like the Philadelphia 76ers when it comes to his inside-out game, being able to shoot the deep shot as well as put the ball on the floor and move around the basket. He's somebody who I do like. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on, if we're going to be seeing Cody Zeller tomorrow. The next game I'm going to talk about is the San Antonio Spurs going to Indiana to take on the Pacers. This is a 208.5 point total, with the San Antonio Spurs being the road favorite. That's right. The Indiana Pacers are the home dog. They are receiving 3 points. Not a huge point spread, but a point spread nonetheless. We've got to be careful in this game. We could get popped. So for that reason, I don't think I'm going to be fucking with anybody on the San Antonio side. I just don't think so. Although I like the spot Kawhi Leonard is in, I just don't want to take. The beauty of this game is it's a 7 o'clock game, so we should know before lineups lock if anybody from San Antonio is going to be sitting. But they've also done shit like tell us 5 minutes after lock that somebody from San Antonio was sitting. So, I mean, that's why you've got to be around, you've got to be available, so you can know, exactly who is going to be on the floor when lineups do lock. So, I'm not particularly high on this game. Period. Like I like Kawhi Leonard, of course. I like at 6.9. I think Jeff Teague is a great play, especially since I think Kawhi's going to make it hard for Paul George to score, and the points are going to have to come from somewhere. So I like Jeff Teague, but this game, this point total, man, it just bothers me. 'Cause I see like a 217, a 230, and this is a point total that just bothers me. The next game I'm going to talk about is the Memphis Grizzlies going to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. This is a 209.5 point total, with the Memphis Grizzlies giving up 9 points. Yet again, another home dog are the Brooklyn Nets. And I think, a lot of times it's really hard to rush the Cats against the Memphis Grizzlies at home. But on the road, we've seen them struggle. We've seen them struggle on the road. And especially against the center position. That leads me to think a little bit about Brook Lopez, man. What can I do with Brook Lopez? The price is kind of down on him. Anytime he's under 7K, he is playable. He is probably, without a doubt, the best player on the Brooklyn Nets. He's going to look to get a lot of touches. He's going to be shooting threes. So I think he deserves consideration, although I probably won't have a ton of him in my early roster builds, but I think he's somebody you can look at now. Marc Gasol, on the other hand, yes. Mike Conley, yes. Tony Allen, yes. There's a lot I like about the Memphis Grizzlies. Moving on to the next game, the Miami Heat are at home against the Orlando Magic. This is a 207.5 point total. A few players I like from the Miami side. I like James Johnson immediately. I like him. We talked about what he's been doing lately as far as handling the ball at the top of the key, especially in those instances where we don't see Whiteside on the floor. Like he is like a center, but a point guard and a shoot. Like he plays like 5 positions on one fucking possession. Like dude will go, he will bring the ball down, give the ball to fucking Dragic, go post somebody up, and throw a sweet dime on the outside to somebody to knock down a 3 point shot. Like dude is on a possession. This dude is doing everything. James Johnson is fucking balling, and I like him too. He's a 7K player at this point, and anytime he's priced under that, I think we're stealing. So I do like him tomorrow. Also, Gordon Dragic is not a player I'm particularly interested in. We know how Orlando can restrict the point guard position. The same thing plays for Miami, so I don't like a point guard on the Orlando side either. But a lot of people are going to be drawn to Whiteside. We talked about this earlier, and I think that's going to be a mistake because Vucevic is a worthy defender, but he's a really great offensive player, and you can score against Whiteside. So I like Vucevic for the price point for the discount at the center spot. I think that's going to be a better point per dollar play than Hassan Whiteside. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Oklahoma City Thunder at the Washington Wizards. This was the nationally televised game we were talking about. I love John Wall in this game. I love Russell Westbrook. I think he has a big triple double tomorrow. I mean, I think Russell Westbrook goes all the way in. 12.7K going in. Yes, I think he goes in tomorrow. I think he has a monster. I just have this feeling that I like Russell Westbrook tomorrow, and I rarely like those dudes that are priced up that high. Like it's gonna be like 2, 3 times a season where I like them, and I like them tomorrow. I do. Uh, it's a 217 point total, and that's what's pulling me in. There's only a 5 point differential going in favor of the Washington Wizards. They are home, and the Wizards are giving up 5 points to Oklahoma City Thunder. So they're coming in dogs, man, road dogs, and I kind of like that role for a player like Russell Westbrook on a game like that game. I like that a lot. John Wall is definitely in play for me as well. But I think it would be better served for me to get some pieces of the other guys in the Washington Wizards game. But guys like Otto Porter, who I think is going to be a solid matchup. If he matches up against like Roberson, I kind of like that because he likes to shoot threes, and it's hard for Roberson to get out there and defend the threes. I like that. Markieff Morris, he can get down and bang. I like that. They don't really have the interior rim protection on the Oklahoma City side that they did in times past. So I kind of like Markieff Morris. Now on the Oklahoma City side, Steven Adams is definitely in play. Uh, Sabonis, if you want a cheap salary saving option there, you can look at him. I love Russell Westbrook. We talked about him already. Oladipo's in a fine spot. Also, um, back to the Washington side, I think you can even look to Gortat in some instances. So this is a really good game. This is a really good game. If I had to bet, I would bet the over for the 217-point total. The next game we're going to talk about is the Detroit Pistons going to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. This is a 211-point total with a -3.5 going in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Yes, they are the home favorite. They're giving up 3.5 points to the Detroit Pistons, and I think we see a nice game off of the bench for Graven Rowe. I like him a lot tomorrow. Giannis is in a nice blow up spot. The point total is not as bad as I thought it would have been. 211 is a fair point total for two teams that just have like a small set amount of scorers. Like how many guys you think off Detroit, can really fill it up? It's like two guys on any given night. It's like two guys scoring wise, and Detroit's going to fill it up. On Milwaukee, it's one dude. It's Giannis. So those three guys are going to be playing. Giannis, Tobias Harris, maybe, and KCP. You can also, if you want to, get in touch with those rebounding and try to get a big double-double, you can do that by way of either Graven Rowe or his former teammate, the big homie, Andre Drummond. So the next game we're going to talk about is the Dallas Mavericks at home against the Boston Celtics. And this is a weird one because this is a 208.5 point total. I know the Dallas Mavericks has been playing a somewhat better basketball lately. I mean, they blew the doors off of somebody the other night, but to be only given a point and a half at home against the Boston Celtics, I don't think that is. I'll take the Celtics and the points all day on this one. I think the Celtics are going to beat the shit out of them. And I think we see a nice game from Isaiah Thomas. People are going to see that DVP and they're going to be scared away. I think that's a mistake. Isaiah can ball against these cats. I think we can look to Yogi Ferrell if you want to because he's just going to get so many minutes with Deron Williams not being able to play an entire game. Salah Mejri is an interesting play because we like to attack Boston rebounding the basketball. How do we do that? Do we do that with Salah Mejri? Do we do that with the Dallas bench guy? Do we use Harrison Barnes, who's been playing a lot of the four there? I think both of those guys are viable plays, Barnes and Mejri. You've got to look at those guys in this game as well. Al Horford is not a play I particularly like on the Boston side. Mainly, I would like to get shares of Isaiah Thomas as well as whoever starts for Jay Crowder. If we know we're going to be seeing Marcus Smart a ton, I like Marcus Smart. Next game we're going to talk about is the Golden State Warriors going to Denver to take on the Nuggets. This is going to be a new look Denver roster with a disgruntled Wilson Chandler, a recently traded Mason Plumlee who will not be suiting up for tomorrow's game, I don't think. It is a 239-point total. That is a shit ton of points. The Denver Nuggets are the home dog. They've been given 11.5 points from the Golden State Warriors. I think it holds up. I think Golden State blows them the fuck out. And in these blowouts, people that I like are Draymond and Klay Thompson. I like those guys. On the Denver side, Jameer Nelson is cheap as shit. If we know we're not going to see Emmanuel Mudiay, we can count on 25, 30 minutes maybe for Jameer Nelson, and I think he can get a solid return on that very small investment there. Jokic is not a play that I'm going to be on tomorrow. I am calling now. Probably. I may see he's a guy who's too good to 100% fade, but on an 11-game slate, I'm probably going to roll 10 lineups, or maybe I just might roll 5, but I'll have him in one of them. I have Jokic in one of them, knowing that he probably won't be a great play, but a guy this talented, you've got to take a shot on him, especially if you got 10 lineups. Gary Harris is questionable, but if he does play, it's not a play that I'm very interested in. We talked about Wilson Chandler already. Nurkic is not there. He's been traded to the Portland Trailblazers, so who was going to step in and grab those minutes that Nurkic wasn't getting? The motherfuckers who've been getting them. people like Kenneth Faried, who probably is not going to play tomorrow. Darrell Arthur, who is coming off an injury. Juancho Hernan Gomez, Willie's brother, somebody that you might be able to look to, especially if this game gets out of hand, like I think it's going to be, and there's going to be a lot of scrub love. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Phoenix Suns. This is a 220-point total. The Phoenix Suns are at home, welcoming the New Orleans Pelicans to town, coming off of that back-to-back. This is a 2.5 differential in favor of the Phoenix Suns. They are home, giving up 2.5 points to the New Orleans Pelicans. I like Anthony Davis tomorrow. I like Drew Holiday at 8.8K. I think we can definitely look to guys like Tyreke Evans or Dante Cunningham if we need that cheap salary relief at the forward position. As far as the Phoenix Suns goes, man, this is going to be a tough lineup to a tough team to get a piece of this 220-point total because we want a piece of it. The point differential is too small and the point total is too high for us not to have something invested in this game. And on the Phoenix side, I think I like to go back to the well with T.J. Warren. I like the trending up that he's been doing leading us into the All-Star break. I also think that if Tyson Chandler does play, I like him. If he doesn't, I like Lynn. It's very simple there. Devin Booker is going to be in a plus matchup with a hobbled Tyreke Evans if he does get the start. So I can see him having a decent game. But coming off getting their ass whooped by Houston Rockets and really embarrassed, this is where we're going to see what kind of grit this team has. So Jared Dudley was like a baller last time out in the blowout against Houston, but he's not somebody that I'm interested in at all. Some of the people are going to see the points and say, hey, man, I got to get Jared Dudley in the lineup. I don't like him at all. Next game I'm going to talk about is the LA Clippers going to Utah to take on the Jazz. This is one of the lower point totals on the slate. 206.5 points is the point total. The last time I said this, the fucking Utah Jazz went out and scored damn near 120 points. Everybody balled out. So I'm not going to say, oh, I'm fading this game. But I'm going to temper my exposure to the Utah guys in this game specifically, man. I don't like George Hill very much. I think he can be a solid player, but I don't like him very much. I like Gordon Hayward. The dude has been on a tear lately, and I think he finishes off this week really strong going into the All-Star break. Rudy Gobert is not a play that I'm particularly interested in, just because he's going up against a matchup with DeAndre Jordan, and they're very similar players, man. Neither one of them can actually shoot or score that much, but they are just beasts on the boards, and they can block shots. So they could cancel each other out, so to speak. On the Clippers side, Jamal Crawford kind of comes to mind, working against the Utah second team. Don't have a lot of affection for the coach's son in a matchup like this. Definitely don't feel like I want to be, rostering DeAndre Jordan or Blake Griffin. The price is very high on him. It's going to be a down and pace game. There's too many juicy point totals, man, and really nice matchups to go with them for me to be scrounging around on the Utah or LA side of their bench trying to find somebody good. Even though I do like Derek Favors too. I forgot to mention him. The last game on the slate and the late night hammer game is going to be at the Motor Center. It is the Atlanta Hawks going to Portland to take on the Trailblazers. This is a 217-point total. Really sweet point total there. The Portland Trailblazers are giving up 1.5 points to the Atlanta Hawks now. I gotta tell you, man, I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna attack this because without Plumlee, a guy who does a lot of ball handling at the top of the key in terms of setting up guys and putting the offense in motion. Without him there, I think we see a lot more ball handling for the backcourt area. And that's kind of driving me to like Lillard and McCollum. And I think I can fit them into a line as we see the nice value, the good value open up throughout the day. So I'm going to be taking a look at that, definitely. And on the other side, Dennis Schroeder has been playing really, really well lately, too. And this ain't like they know rocket scientists at defense. It ain't like, Portland is some great perimeter defense. Like, they'll give it up. They'll bend over and give it up to the point guard position, too. So that does not take Dennis Schroeder off of the table for me. It's just I like all of the point guards in this matchup. I like them a lot. I think we can look to Paul Millsap at his price point. Who's going to guard him? I don't know. I think we can go there. Not too much else to like. I don't like Dwight Howard. I don't fuck with Kent Bazemore. He is dead to me. Tim Hardaway Jr. could be a decent play, but I don't want to risk that. There's so much really good plays on the slate at a similar price point that I don't think I have to reach for Tim Hardaway Jr. Remember, the dude is a bench player for a reason. The dude starts because Thabo Sefolosha is not starting for a reason. So we don't want to get too into a string of decent games to where we just roster this cat every night with complete confidence. I don't think he's there yet. Back to the Portland side, Al-Farouq Amino deserves consideration, definitely. We can look to Mo Harkless. Who's going to be the starting center now is the question that we do have. Is it going to be Ed Davis, who's back from injury, or is it going to be Noah Vonleh, who's been playing fairly decent over the last few games? So there's a ton to look at, a ton of research to get into. This was the first leg of our research. I am your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Today is the last day to submit your hashtag sweatshop swag with your best FanDuel and DraftKings score so we can get those t-shirts out to you. I will be announcing the winner on tomorrow night show, on Monday night show, as we break down the 3-game slate coming up Tuesday. This, of course, has been your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. If you can't listen to the show or watch the show on YouTube, go download the iTunes. Go check me out. I'm over on iTunes. Just type in NBA DFS in the search where it comes to podcast. You will see the boy. You will see the logo. Get in there. Rate, review, even if it's bad, however you feel, just talk about it and get it on there for me. If you want to support the show in other ways, there are many ways to support the show. You're doing the best way right now by giving me your ear and your voice on YouTube. Also, there's a box over there. It says support the show. If you're on your desktop, go ahead and click that box and let it take you where it has to take you. You can go ahead and cop some DFS Sweatshop swag. If you hit the 300 Club recently and you want to show it off, go ahead and go to the website. There's going to be a link in the description to this video. Also, hop in the website, man. Go visit the website. It's www.dfssweatshop.com. You got a ton of new and interesting things happening. You're going to want to be a part of it. So go ahead and get and reserve your spot right now. There you'll be seeing our cheat sheets, our DVPs, rankings, everything, all of the tools and tutelage that will turn you into a profitable daily fantasy sports player. Of course, again, this is your DFS Jerusalem. The number one thing I want you to do on a Monday is go out, ball out, and keep it 300.